Okay, so check it. I wanted to do this little mukbang video while I eat my breakfast papaya. Breakfast for a goddess, okay? And talk about why and how have women been able to get this far along in our earth journey without knowing how to properly communicate? How? How? If you did not know, I am here to tell you that just because we as women come together and we share and we express and we cry, it does not mean that we actually know how to communicate. We are actually very emotional. We are very flighting. And this is whether we're communicating with our man, which we are extremely extra, or whether we're communicating with another woman. Like, most of the time, when it's time for an uncomfortable or a difficult conversation between me and another woman, the pattern has been that the woman is not woman enough to actually have the conversation. And if she feels as though she is, she's being petty, she's being catty, she's throwing shade, she's like trying to hit below the belt. Or she's just sending long ass text messages because she can't actually sit down, be calm, and communicate with love. Instead, she communicates with emotions. Now, a lot of you guys are going to try to be like, well, that's your experience, da, 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 da. But you are not about to sit here and tell me that you've had difficult situations with at least 3 to 5 of your female friends or the women in your life, and that you guys were able to just talk it out and just be like, look, sis, this is what it is. I'm not feeling this. I am feeling it. You're not going to sit here and tell me that. You can't tell me that. Now, you may not have had a lot of situations where you've had issues with women at all. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is any amount of issues that you've had, how many are able to really calmly, face to face or over the phone, and just talk it out and just come to a solution. You're not about to sit here and make it seem like that's been the scenario with the majority of women. Because if that was the case, our sisterhood would be on another level, like for real. Like the whole world would be healed because women all over the world would be communicating in a healthy way. And the truth is that we just don't. We just don't. And because we do communicate amongst each other more than men do, because we do create a safe space for us as women to communicate, we mistaken that for women being able to healthy and to like rationally communicate. We be all over the place, y'all, and we just don't like to admit it. Them long ass paragraphs that we joke about, that we be sending to our men, we be sending to our friends too. A lot of us are on the defense because we have dealt with so many situations like this where our friends will ghost us or they'll have the wrong idea and project these feelings on us. We are now racing whenever the conflict has arisen or the contrast is showing itself. A lot of us are racing to be the one to cut that person off or to be the one to call it quits first. Very ego-driven communication we have here. And we don't get to talk about it. Yet we try and tell the world how we need to be coming together and men need to da-da-da-da. But women, we actually suck. Like, our sisterhood fucking sucks. And let me say this. I have some of the most amazing women in my life. I am still friends with most of my friends that I've been knowing since I was 14, 15 years old. I have some of the most solid, down-to-earth, open, non-judgmental women who really show up for me, who really reflect me and show me who I am. So I'm not lacking in the department of having true and honest sisterhood. I should have been able to meet you 4 and 5 years ago or 6, 7 months ago. And since we're calling ourselves sis, when we have a problem, we should be able to discuss it. We should be able to come to a solution and fix it if we feel like our relationship, if you feel like if I feel like you are worth it. It shouldn't be what it is. And what it is what no one wants to talk about. It's like the biggest fucking secret. But I'm gonna talk about it. Here is some advice, okay? When your friend offends you, or when your friend is doing and saying something that hurts your feelings or whatever, try before you just try to go within first. Try to go within, go by yourself, and ask yourself if what this person is doing is worth them not being in your life. Because sometimes it is. Sometimes how they are, how they're being, what it is, sometimes you just can't accept it. And even though love is acceptance, you know your boundaries. You know what you can accept and what you cannot. If you can accept it, but you know that it is still bothersome and you guys have the connection where you can come and talk to them, which hopefully you do, find a time, find a place, and talk to them. Find a time, find a place, and talk to them. Sometimes it's not a scenario that's so big that necessarily needs that, but you can still keep it real. What I do when I feel like, okay, it's not that serious for me to set you down and talk to you, but I'm still going to be honest with you. So I might say it in a light way because it's something that's kind of bothersome, but it's not that big of a deal, but it's big of a deal for it to still be an inconvenience to me. Let's say that it's a certain way that you are, and it's putting me in a position of having to act a certain way or do something that's out of my character. I might still mention it to you. And if I feel like it's too much, because I pay very much attention, I will be like, okay, wait a minute. Just so you know, I'm not saying this for this. I'm doing this because this is how I'm feeling, yada, yada, yada. But it don't necessarily mean we got to sit down and, do a whole thing. Sometimes that is needed. And if that's the case, find the time. Find the time, find the place, and set your friend down and say, girl, I love you, but you've been doing this. If you two are racing to hurt each other, if one of you or two of you are back and forth, this is normally how women do. I don't play these games, but this is what I see all the time. This is what a lot of my clients are experiencing, the back and forth thing. Normally it's text messaging. Back and forth. Well, you did this. Well, you're this. Well, that's why you're this. Well, you're the one bringing up stuff from 6 months ago. Bringing up, sharing feelings that I didn't even know you felt that way. I didn't even know you was feeling like that. Like just the other day, we was kicking it, and you was like, "Ain't nothing wrong." This type of communication is so immature. It's so immature, and I see this in women of all ages. It doesn't matter what the age is. Honestly, there's no type of like, oh, well, if you are friends with a woman this age, then normally if you guys have a problem, she'll react this way. Women are doing this in their relationships with their men and in their relationships with their friends. And a lot of you guys are even gaslighting and doing this with your kids too. It is extremely toxic. I don't like to play them games. Like if I'm feeling some kind of way about you, we just gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna tell you. That's honestly the most healthiest, best communication for me, because I don't like to pretend like we're cool and then something else comes up and then and then I lash out or whatever. I'm just not afraid to have these kind of uncomfortable conversations. I even enjoy having these kind of conversations with people who I love, who I want to keep the connection going, because that's a connection, that's a relationship. You are going to have certain situations. You are going to have disagreements and problems. But a disagreement is not you reaching out to me and you pouring out all your feelings and you just sending me long ass paragraphs and then I can't even respond to you. Like you don't even want to have real dialogue. I don't play those games. I'm just not playing those games. And I think that until women can stop looking like the holy grail that we set on when it comes to the way that we communicate, women are often right. We are very intuitive. We are very intelligent. We are very independent. We are amazing things, but we don't got it all figured out. There's a lot of things that we can learn from men. And when it comes to the reasons why we have problems, we can take a lot from men, because women will hone in and build a case against you off of some shit that wasn't even really what it was. That wasn't even really what's happening. But she's projecting off of her own insecurities, off of the relationships that she's had with other women or her mother. I mean, there's so many levels to this, and we just don't get to talk about it enough. We're just so like feminine and soft like, Ooh, okay, and one more thing. When you guys do this thing where you're like, I'm not going to say anything at all because I'm keeping my peace, or, you know, I'm just going to ghost her, I'm not going to say nothing because it's about my peace, that's not really peaceful. That's actually not being peaceful, darling. That's gaslighting. It's actually extremely narcissistic behavior. You guys have this friendship, this connection. You claim you love each other. You claim you respect each other. And then you just don't do anything at all. You don't say nothing. There's no clue. There's no hints. You just say nothing. And that's about your peace. You're actually not at peace. When you're at peace, you're able to have these discussions and not feel conflicted. Peace is when your higher self and your lower earthly self is joining together and there's no conflict. There's no contrast within you. You can speak with love, you can express with love, and you can treat others how you want to be treated. And you don't want to be treated by someone feeling some kind of way and them not being honest with you, or whenever they finally are able to be honest with you, they don't give you a chance to speak and they're just blocking you and just ghosting you. This is not being peace. This is actually women avoiding difficult conversations, okay? This is women avoiding difficult conversations because they don't know how to communicate. This is not you being at peace, sis. It's not giving peace. It's giving you're not woman enough to address the situation that you claim you know so much about. That's what that's giving. So from my personal experience, from me coaching and helping others, from me being a sister and a friend to so many women, I really wanted to put this information out there. Please give your sister as much patience as you give that nigga, okay? Give her just as much leniency, okay, as you giving that dude, because you keep taking him back. You keep giving him all the chances. You letting him speak sometimes, because we really ain't even letting our dude speak. I'm telling y'all, we are messed up, okay? On so many levels, we are driven by our emotions, and we don't even take the time to just, what are my feelings? What am I feeling? Is this a real feeling? Is this coming from somewhere else? Is it coming from trauma? Am I projecting? We don't do this enough, all right? I love you guys. I wanted to share this message. Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Like, if this is an experience that you've had, share it. Let's talk about it.